Some hymns don't just speak. They whisper into the deepest parts of us. Hymns that don't rise out of strength or certainty, but out of trembling hands, tired hearts, and silent tears. Just As I Am is one of those hymns. It is a song for the weary, the wounded, the ashamed. The ones who feel like they have nothing left to offer except their broken pieces. It is a hymn for people who come to God, not with confidence, but with confession. And behind this hymn is a woman whose story was marked by pain, illness, doubt, and a lifetime spent searching for a God she desperately wanted to believe still loved her. This is the story of Charlotte Elliott, a woman who fought battles no one saw, who questioned her worth at every turn, and who discovered, after years of struggle, that grace was not something you earned. It was something that met you exactly where you were. Just as you were, just as she was. Charlotte Elliott was born in 1789 into a respected and educated family in England. Her home was filled with music, books, and devotion. And as a young woman, she showed a natural talent for both art and writing. But life, as it often does, took a painful turn. In her early 30s, Charlotte was struck by a sudden and mysterious illness that left her physically weak and emotionally devastated. The sickness took her strength. It drained her energy, and slowly, painfully, it stole the life she thought she would have. She couldn't travel. She couldn't marry. She couldn't pursue many of the dreams she had held as a young woman. And so she began to withdraw. Her days became quiet, restricted, confined to the four walls of her room. Others saw her as frail, but inside her, a war was raging. She wrestled with depression, frustration, and deep spiritual doubt. She felt useless, like her life no longer held meaning. She wondered what purpose God could have for someone who could no longer give the world anything in return. She once wrote in her diary, "My faith feels small, my heart feels cold, and I fear I am unworthy to call myself his." Charlotte felt like she was slowly fading, not just in body, but in spirit. And in those years of isolation, a seed of guilt began to grow inside her. She believed she was too broken to be loved, too weak to be useful, too doubtful to be accepted by God. Her illness had stolen her health, but it was the shame that threatened to steal her soul. Everything changed one evening when a well-respected minister, Dr. Cesar Malin, came to visit her family. During a quiet conversation, he looked at Charlotte with gentle eyes and asked her a simple but piercing question. "Do you have peace with God?" The question hit her deeply. Her voice trembled as she answered, "No, I want to be saved, but I don't know how. I feel like I have nothing to bring to God, nothing worthy to offer." The minister paused, looked into her hurting eyes, and softly spoke the words that would change her life forever. "Come to him, just as you are." She was stunned. No one had ever put it like that. She asked him again, almost in disbelief, "Just as I am, without anything, without fixing myself first?" And he replied, "Yes." God does not ask you to bring anything, only to come. Charlotte later wrote that those words fell on her heart like water on dry ground. For the first time in years, a spark of hope lit inside her. That night, she lay awake in her bed, replaying the words again and again. Just as you are, just as you are. Could it really be that simple? Could God truly accept someone as broken as her? Somewhere deep within, something shifted. Her prayers were still trembling. Her doubts were still present. Her body was still weak, but her heart dared to believe. that maybe, just maybe, she did not need to be perfect to be loved. That moment became the turning point of her spiritual journey. But even after that night, Charlotte's life did not suddenly become easy. Her illness continued. Her emotional battles persisted. She had moments of faith and moments of despair. But now, she had something she didn't have before. A truth that she could cling to, especially on the days when she felt most unworthy. God accepts me, not because of who I am, but because of who He is. This truth became a lifeline. She wrote poems in the stillness of her room. She composed lines of prayer in the quiet mornings. She journaled her struggles and hopes late into the night. Her faith was growing, not from strength, but from surrender. She was learning that grace isn't something you earn by being strong. It is something you receive, precisely because you are weak. And slowly, her heart began to heal. In 1835, many years after her life-changing conversation, Charlotte found herself once again wrestling with doubt and insecurity. It was the anniversary of her conversion, a date she often used for deep reflection. But on this particular day, her inner turmoil returned. She felt unworthy, she felt spiritually dry, and she wondered whether her faith still mattered. Sitting alone, weakened by her illness, Charlotte began to pour out her emotions onto paper. Every line reflected her struggle and her surrender. Every word felt like a confession and a prayer. The poem she wrote that day would become one of the most powerful hymns in history, a hymn sung by millions, a hymn that has brought comfort to countless hearts. A hymn that has echoed across centuries, just as I am, without one plea. As she wrote those words, she was reminding herself of the truth she had heard years earlier, the truth that had saved her. Come, just as you are, verse by verse. She poured her heart out, just as I'm though tossed about, with many a conflict, many a doubt. It was her life on paper. Her struggles turned into song. Her weakness transformed into worship. She wasn't writing from a place of perfection. She was writing from a place of dependence. From a place of being held by grace that refused to let her go. That simple poem, written in a moment of vulnerability, became her legacy when Just As I Am was first printed. No one could have predicted the impact it would have. It wasn't dramatic. It wasn't loud. It wasn't musically complex. It was simply honest. And that honesty, this is what made it powerful. People connected with it because it echoed the truth. We all feel, but rarely say, I'm not enough, but God is. Over the decades that followed, the hymn was sung in churches across England, then across America, and eventually across the world. It became a staple of revivals. Thousands, even millions, have walked down church aisles to this hymn playing softly in the background. For many, Just As I Am became the sound of a new beginning. A soundtrack for surrender, a reminder that grace is not earned, it is given. One of the most famous evangelists in history, Billy Graham, used this hymn during nearly all of his crusades. The song became synonymous with salvation, with second chances, with the gentle voice of God calling the lost home. And every time it played, it carried the heartbeat of Charlotte Elliott, a woman who once believed she had nothing to offer, yet offered her brokenness anyway. What makes this hymn so powerful is not just its melody, but its message, because we all, in our own ways, walk through life feeling unworthy. We carry mistakes. We hide regrets. We battle thoughts we don't speak out loud. Some of us feel like we've drifted too far. Others feel too damaged to hope again. Others feel like God has forgotten them, or that they've failed too many times. But just as I am whispers something different. Something life-changing, something true. Grace meets us where we are, not where we wish we were. God doesn't ask you to come polished. He doesn't ask you to come perfectly. He doesn't ask you to come put together. He simply asks you to come, just as you are, with your questions, with your fears, with your exhaustion, with your guilt, with your broken pieces, with your trembling faith. And when you do, He meets you, not with condemnation, but with compassion, not with judgment, but with joy, not with rejection, but with open arms. That is the heartbeat of this hymn. That is the heartbeat of the gospel. And that is the heartbeat that still reaches across centuries. To every listener today, Charlotte Elliott spent most of her life in pain. She struggled with doubt, loneliness, and sorrow. But through her weakness, God wrote a song that has healed millions. Her life became a testimony that grace is not for the worthy, but for the willing. So as you listen to this hymn, as the melody softens your heart, as the words invite you home, remember this: you do not need to be perfect to be loved. You do not need to be strong to be held. You do not need to have it all together to be accepted. You only need to come just as you are. You're not watching this by accident. If this hymn found you today, the full story will hit even deeper. Join thousands rediscovering the hymns that changed the world. Click the full episode below and come be part of the journey.